What is going on, people? Jimmy Jazz, right? Like, I could not tell you the last time I shopped with them. The last time I remember shopping with them, it could have been like 2016 or something. I would assume I bought something from them since then because that's like a long time ago. But I don't know, man. They're just not a store I find myself in very often, largely because I didn't know that there was one around here and because I just don't shop there a lot, you know? It is what it is. I got nothing against them, you know? We just don't seem to find ourselves crossing paths very often. But I was over at Greenbrier Mall in Chesapeake the other day to pick up those 12s. I had to go all out of my way for that raffle. And I happened to walk in there and I saw a lot of stuff that I didn't care for, right? And so I was like, well, maybe this is why I don't shop at Jimmy Jazz. But then off in the distance, I saw the Uptempo. Oh, side of the box for you, people who like to see that. So I saw that off in the distance and I was like, is that it? And then I went over there because they had just restocked on the internets, right? I was like, well, maybe since they sold out there, at least in the sizes that I could potentially use, maybe they've got my back here. So I went over there and looked at it. The size on the shelf was a 9. I was like, okay. I remember from trying a pair on back in El Paso, the UNC blue and white ones. Remember like that I kind of liked a smaller size on those because I felt like they were a little big. And I looked at it, it was like said size 9. I'm like, well, I think I remembered wanting an 8.5, but let me just ask what they have. And that 9 was all they had, so that 9 was what I bought. And now here we are to talk about it. So what color does this actually say it is? Cool gray and midnight navy. Alright, cool. So let's go ahead and do what I said, which is talk about this right here, this Nike Air More Uptempo 96 in cool gray and midnight navy colorway, whatever. Yeah, so we're gonna do that. And we're gonna start this thing with the bottom because that just kind of makes sense to me. So, down there across the bottom, right? Now, I've never really seen any of these before, but I'm gonna assume that that's what these all look like. It's kind of a decent look, nothing amazing, but you do have a little bit of an air sort of bubble going on at the bottom, so that's cool, right? Anyways, moving on up to the midsole here. You see a lot more of that air bubble stuff going on. And you just got kind of like the little different lines of color alternating through or whatever, you know, kind of helping spell out those letters and all that good stuff. And then you get to the back and you got a little bit of a Nike swoosh down there on both sides, right? There's the one on the inside for you. In case you didn't believe me, there it is. So, that's pretty decent, I suppose. And now, let's kind of go ahead, we'll get you a good look at the overall shoe, right? So you can kind of see what we're up against. Though you probably already know, if you're watching this video, you probably know exactly what you're up against. Anyways, let's get down in here and talk about some stuff, right? So, down here around the toe box, right? It's kind of a stiffer piece down here. Almost, and then on the actual top area, you got a little stitched on swoosh in white, backed against some of that gray color and all that. It is leather looking or whatever, doesn't feel like anything fantastic, but hey, whatever, it doesn't much matter to me. This is one of those visual pieces, you know? I don't really care about the quality so much. And then moving back, right? The rest of the shoe is pretty much all going to be a lot more of that leather piece. Now, the leather on the rest of it does feel a little bit better than it did on the top of the toe box there, so there is that in case anybody was curious. Otherwise, on the side, you do have air, right? And so that's going to be in that midnight navy that I was talking about before on the side of the box. And that kind of feels like a nubuck or something like that. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. I'm not super great with like the material names and stuff, so I just kind of throw something out there and then I just kind of stand by it. You know, if I'm wrong, I'm just going to be wrong and double down on it. You got nubuck right here, people. Nubuck. Don't let anybody tell you different. Anyways, moving on, right? Typical air stuff. And then when you look at the leather here, you do have some little perforations and whatnot. It doesn't go all the way through, but hopefully will offer some sort of breathability because this shoe off the top is looking like it has none. But that is what it is. Moving on to the back. Down here you got you another one of these swooshes, kind of a little clear plasticky sort of thing. I do kind of like it. And then at the top, right above that, you've got this little pull tab thing, kind of like those Pegasus trails I had on the other day. So you got that going on. pretty decent little look there. And behind that, you got more of that leather that feels a lot more like the toe box, meaning not so great. So, is that everything for the outside? I'm feeling like it is, so I'm going to say that it is. Let's go ahead and get back around to the front real quick so then we can jump on the inside and knock out this stuff here. So, across the front, right? With the laces, you have similar laces to what I just saw on that Jordan 12 review I just did. It's just the lacing system is very different, right? And you can kind of tell that, so I'm not going to detail it so much. But on the side, you do have some of those like speed lacing type things, kind of like the Jordan 9s have or whatever. So maybe that'll help like tighten these up quickly. I don't know. I haven't really worn these a whole lot. I just tried it on, you know? So you got that going on. And then between those laces kind of connecting them in some sort of way or whatever, you have the elastic bands or whatever, these here bands that are, I think they're also on 10s maybe. But supposedly somebody was saying, I think it was Jeezy, that you can take the laces out and like you can still wear the shoe because these elastic things kind of help keep you somewhat secure. I'm keeping the laces in though. I mean, you know, I'm not much into swapping laces or taking them out or anything. I don't want to do any work. I just want the shoe to be done and treated as a complete package when I get it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe some of you agree. Behind that, the tongue. This is feeling very soft, this here meshy thing that they have going on, so I do like that. And then as you get to the top, it's kind of blocked right here, but I'll get you a decent picture perhaps. You got this leather top of the tongue, and on there you have another Nike swoosh, and that's going to be in that midnight navy. And at the very top, you have another one of those little pull tab rope things as you had on the back, and also the midnight navy. And then switching around, because I believe that's it for that. The back side of the tongue, very thin, so I don't think that's a problem. I think it's kind of just a comfort step, you know what I'm saying? But it feels decent, and it matches up with what you're going to see on the rest of the sock liner. So that's probably okay. You know, I mean, I wear socks with my shoes anyway, so it's not like I'm going to feel it. But from the little bit that I did have these on, they did feel pretty comfortable as far as the feeling goes. So it's not there for nothing, I suppose. Looking on to the inside, down in there, you've got this gray insole, and it says Nike Air in white with that Nike swoosh because that's how that works. And also one thing you'll see down in there, the tongue is strapped down to the shoe with those little elastic bands in there. Got it right the third time. So that's kind of a cool thing. I do like that. It helps me feel a little bit more secure like when I'm wearing these things. But I'll get more into that in a minute, right? As far as this particular shoe goes. So that being that, I want to say we've covered everything there is to talk about with like the visual of this shoe. I may have left something out, who knows, but I'm just going to say that I didn't. So that means we can move on and I'll talk about my thoughts on this particular shoe, and then we'll talk about my thoughts on the sizing of this particular shoe. So, personal thoughts. I really like this thing a lot. I really do. It probably doesn't show because I kind of just talk about stuff the way I talk about stuff. But I wanted a pair of these since that UNC pair, which I waited too long for, and then it sold out, and the price that they're going for now I'm not paying because it's over retail. Then I saw these. They were around for a while, then they dropped. And when they dropped, I think I just had a problem finding my size or something. I don't know. Either way, I kept striking out. I also missed out on the flax pair, the wheat pair. So I basically just kind of gave up on them. I was like, I have enough other stuff. But now I finally got them thanks to Jimmy Jazz, my favorite shoe store to shop in. And so now that I have these up close, I'm looking at them like, man, I'm not going to say it's worth all the hassle that I went through, but I'm definitely like glad I was able to like get these in eventually. I think it was worth the wait though in some ways because they do look pretty cool. So there is that. Will I get any more of them? I don't know. I mean, given how much hassle I went through to get these, probably not. But I would definitely be open to it, you know what I'm saying? But if you're open to it or not, like, you might need to know a little bit more than just like what I think and what they look like and all that good stuff. You're probably gonna want to know like how they feel and what size you should even buy if you decide to buy them. So we are going to talk about that just a little bit. So, sizing and comfort. Okay. I remember trying these on years ago and thinking that they felt a little bit big, right? So given that I have a size 9.5 foot, I was thinking like, okay, maybe I should get a 9, possibly an 8.5. I remember trying on an 8.5 and it actually felt decent, you know, to me. But the 9, I would say that that's probably like the better way to go for a lot of people. But you can say whatever you want to, because I only have so much experience with these right now. I don't know if different ones are cut differently, but long story short, I'm going to half size down, and that is working out for me. Whatever works out for you is something that you should probably leave in a comment down below so other people can see those opinions and whatnot. Be constructive though, because if you just say, yeah, these fit different, it's like, somebody did that once, like, different in what way? You are not helping anybody. So anyways, moving back on to what we were talking about here, right? Once you get your sizing and all that good stuff worked out, you're probably going to be wondering, okay, now that I know which one to buy, what can I expect from the comfort? And honestly, like, I walked around in these just a little bit just now or whatever. They don't feel amazing, but I'm hoping and guessing that maybe they'll feel a little bit better over time. I mean, they've got this big air unit thing going on down here, so there is that piece of it, and I do usually like that because I am an Air Max kind of guy. But at the same time, I've never really found any basketball shoes of the 90s to really be comfortable, right? To where I'd say like, oh man, that's a comfortable shoe. So this is probably as comfortable as it's going to get, which is fine, sufficient perhaps. But again, if you are someone out there who's worn a pair of these or several pairs for like some extended period of time, leave your thoughts down below because they will probably be a lot more helpful than mine. But either way, a lot of people just like to see what these things look like and they already know what they're getting into. So I think I've talked enough to get that point across, like the visual point across. So we're gonna move on so we can all go our separate ways and do whatever we're gonna do with our days. Now, there's that. Go put this thing back in here, set that down. I don't have any other videos that I'm gonna be recording today. That's good, because like that's 3. So yeah, go ahead and edit these, get these out to the world and all that good stuff. So I need to go do that. Therefore, from me to you, have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever it is, wherever you are. Like I said, I got stuff to do. Maybe you've got stuff to do as well, for the few of you who might still be with me this deep into the video. So go ahead and do your stuff and let me know how it goes. I'll talk to you later. Later, people.